All right, welcome everybody. We appreciate everyone's taking an extra 20 minutes off early from work today. I know you'd rather be back in the office, but your sacrifice is duly noted and we're thankful for it. I'd like to welcome everyone for the second phase of our historical commemoration here in downtown Bradenton, and for the occasion of unveiling our historical marker. I'd like to acknowledge, first of all, some of our distinguished guests here. First of all, Betty Bell Zamansky Garver, whose father began his business right here on this block 100 years ago. Mayor Poston, Kathy Slusser, the Manatee County Historical Resources Director, who's been a terrific help for this whole process. Steve Knopick, CEO of Bealls Incorporated. Bob Bell, Chairman of the Board. Dan Love, President of Bealls Incorporated. Lorna Nagler, President of Bealls Department Stores. I see the representatives of the Downtown Development Authority rapidly approaching Ground Zero. And also Beverly Bell. Before we unveil the marker, I'd like to read a resolution that was passed yesterday in Tallahassee. Whereas Bealls, a family-oriented business, has been serving Floridians for 100 years. And whereas in 1915, 22-year-old Robert M. Bell Sr. opened a dry goods store in Bradenton, Florida, now known as Bradenton. And whereas Bell's store was originally named the Dollar Limit Store, as nothing was priced over $1. And whereas as business and inflation grew after World War I, Bell changed the name to the $5 Limit Store. And whereas in 1946, Robert Bell's son, E.R., joined the business and the name was changed to Bell's Department Store. And whereas the Bell family opened their second store in Bradenton in 1956 and their third store in Venice, Florida in 1961. And whereas in 1970, we got 100 years to go through this, so patience. E.R. Bell's son, Robert M. Bell, Bob, joined the business, making 3 generations of the Bell family active in the company. And Robert Bell Sr. continued to manage the original downtown Bradenton location until his death in 1979 at the age of 86. And whereas in 1980, when Bob Bell assumed the presidency of Bealls, the chain had grown to amass $38 million in annual sales. And whereas the original store on Manatee Avenue was sold in 1987, and its proceeds were used to establish the R.M. Bell Sr. Foundation, which supports youth and education. And whereas the Bell family and their descendants have successfully expanded Bealls Inc. into a multi-state chain of over 500 retail stores with sales exceeding $1 billion. And whereas Bealls Inc. now employs over 12,000 employees, 8,000 of whom are Floridians. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Governor and Cabinet of the State of Florida do hereby recognize Bealls Inc.'s centennial anniversary and the achievement of the Bell family and their associates for a century of outstanding success in the retail business. In testimony whereof, the Governor and Cabinet of the State of Florida have hereunto subscribed their names and have caused the official seal of the State of Florida to be hereunto affixed in the city of Tallahassee this 14th day of April 2015. Signed, Rick Scott, Governor, Pam Bondi, Attorney General, Jeff Atwater, Chief Financial Officer, and Adam Putnam, Commission of Agriculture. So now at this time I would like to ask Steve Knopick and Mayor Wayne Poston to come forward and do the honors.
Wayne, I'm going to pull it up to the top and then you yank it out there. Once I get it up to the top, you can pull it off. Everyone ready?
Go. Ooh, ah!
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. And at this point, I would like to ask Johnette Isham to come forward, the moving force of Realize Bradenton, our executive director, who has inspired a great deal of what we're doing today. Johnette?
Thanks, Bill. You know, about 5 years ago, close to 2,000 residents worked together and created the Realize Bradenton plan to activate arts, culture, and heritage to build our community's livability and economic development. This historic plaque that we've unveiled today, right before happy hour, thank you, Bill, showcases an important part of Bradenton's history, the story of the entrepreneurial Bell family and the Bealls department stores. History is incredibly important because through the past, we shape the future. As this plaque speaks to our past, it is also particularly important to our future. As many partners, such as Realize Bradenton, the City of Bradenton, the Downtown Development Authority, Manatee County, and the Manatee Chamber are actively seeking new ways to encourage the creativity and the business spirit of millennials, our community's next generation of leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives. History is also incredibly important because it is a key factor in the economic impact from tourism. In fact, 1/3 of the traveling public each year, close to 60 million people, seek out places just like Bradenton because they want to positively interact with heritage and the unique features of a destination, such as learning more about history via the many contributions of the Bell family. For this factoid and this plaque, I acknowledge Kathy Slusser, the Director of the Historic Resources Manatee County Clerk. Thank you, Kathy, for keeping heritage alive in all you do with all the parks and with Realize Bradenton, and for all your work on this staff, even I understand for getting the cement and digging the hole. So in conclusion, and I have a conclusion, everything you see I'm wearing, and I mean everything, I have purchased at Bealls over the years, and I mean everything. Thank you. Thank you.
That is beautiful. Thank you. Keep it up, girl.
Well, thank you, Johnette. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And at this point, I'll shut off the mic and ask everyone to come up and read the history of Bell Centennial. Thank you.